Every project really has its challenges, and we love to turn those challenges into opportunities.
Our company really likes to make people feel like they're part of a family. So we went out to all the different departments. We sat down with each one of them, and we asked about their current work strategies and what they would change in a future environment. And then we drove to those sort of main key objectives.
The top priorities from Medallia, one was helping them grow into this new space and keeping people connected. And the second was representing their global perspective and the diversity of their people.
If a client has a really aggressive design and construction schedule and a really difficult budget, designer-led design build is the right solution for them.
I think it's a really important opportunity for clients because they're so busy. These folks want to really focus on building their own business, and if they can have one point of contact that understands budget, schedule, and gives them the most incredible design, it actually makes it a lot easier for them. In order to make a project like this a success, I think one of the things that has to happen is something we call the big room. That is a meeting that happens weekly, sometimes more often than weekly.
A brainstorming session in design with a build partner such as DPR that is not something that happens in traditional relationship of the architect, builder, and client.
When we were meeting with the Medallia teams, we were really overwhelmed by this strong sense of community. And so that began our thinking of this group of folks as a community in itself, almost like a small city. It inspired us to start looking at city planning, and the thing that intrigued us was, one, how spaces were formed in between buildings and how those spaces were really activated and changed over time. It led us to thinking about creating an active void like we see in the parks and plazas and parklets around the city. And so what we started to think about is how we can take this sort of kit-apart rooms and really put them together to create in their void another room.
We designed it within layers. We created a pathway that sort of went all around those spaces. It created an area where natural collisions could happen and people could end up having spontaneous conversation. And then the second layer was where the conference rooms and offices are. They're all at various heights, they're floating rooms. It also created a buffer between sort of this noisy inner corridor and then the outer layer where the workstations are at.
The design concept was really a symbiotic relationship between the culture and the way of working of their people, a concept of community, and also this budget. And I'm not sure one could have happened without the other.
One of the most innovative parts of the project is the prefab wall system.
We reimagined how the wall might be made.
On a construction site, the whole team has to move around where all the walls are. Well, if we can set up on the floor in one spot and keep one team there, it's like, like the whistle blows in the morning, you start, you do all your production, and at the end of the day, the whistle blows and you stop and everything's still there. So we set the stations up on each floor when we went to those floors and kept it there for time management.
From conventional framing, the numbers show about a 25% savings in cost to get those walls done.
I love the fact that we had such a tight budget in the beginning. I mean, it was bad, it was really tight. With that, we came through and we met our budget. Now, when we compare that to other construction costs in the Bay Area, for the same kind of build-outs, tech companies, innovative space, it's about 80% of the cost of what everyone else is paying. So I think that's a huge accomplishment to everyone across the board. It ties into why I went to design build. It also ties into why I picked Moser and DPR for their skill sets and experience. Our employees love it. They're so happy. They continue to come by and tell us how great a place this is. It's inspiring to them. It creates energy. It's an awesome place to be. So on the design side, I've knocked it out of the park.
Everyone's contribution, from client to designer to maker, is really evident in the space. And I think this brings a complexity and a diversity that really allows the people that use this space every day to connect with it and then to embrace it as their own. There's a sense of place here that I think can only happen through this type of collaboration.